Hello and welcome you once again in this new session of history. Once again, we will start with this chapter number 4, the modern empire. In the last section, we have learned about the sources of the modern empire, literally source and archaeological source. Sanchi Stupa. We also started to know about the modern dynasty by Chandragupta Maurya, how he had defeated Seleucus and take the countries like Kabul, Kandahar, Herat and Balochistan. He also married the daughter of Seleucus. He made Pushyagupta the governor of northwest province, and then he moved toward the south. He captured Mysore and his dynasty from east to west, north and south now been extended. Then his son Bindusar, he succeeded his father Chandragupta Maurya. The Greek historian Ethnarchus called him a slayer of foes because he conquered many parts of South India after defeating 16 rulers in a row. During his rule, he faced a revolt in Takshashila. It was quelled by his second son Ashoka, who was the governor there. Bindusar maintained friendly relations with the rulers of Greece. And then came the Ashoka the Great. Ashoka, he succeeded to the throne after his father Bindusar's death. On ascending the throne, Ashoka took the title of Devnamapriya, that means the man who is beloved of the god, and Priyadarshi means the beautiful one. During his reign, he won many battles, but it was the Kalinga War, the most famous war in the history. So after his ascending the throne, Ashoka fought famous Kalinga War. According to the Megasthenes, the Greek historian at the court of Chandragupta Maurya, the ruler of King Kalinga, had a powerful army, and he comprising infantry, cavalry and elephants. Ashoka faced tough resistance. According to the Rock Edict 12, both sides suffered losses, but people of Kalinga suffered the most. Though Ashoka won the war, but after the war, his life has been totally changed. He was felt so sad that he gave up the war, and the consequence of the Kalinga war was Kalinga had a profound effect on the policies and personalities of Ashoka. The death and the destruction caused by the Kalinga war brought a great change in the personal and the political life of Ashoka. He gave up the conquest by force, that means he gave up the sword. He promised that he will not fight against, which was known as Beri Gosha, and ambition of victory in all directions, that was Digvijay, and embraced the policy of religions, that was Dhamma Gosha. So he declared after the Kalinga war that he is not going to fight any war, that is the Beri Gosha, and he also gave up the ambition of the victory for all, that was the Digvijay, and he started Dharma Gosha. Kalinga changed the Ashoka's personal life also. He stopped hunting, he stopped eating meat, and also abandoned the life of luxury. All the prisoners of war were used for agricultural work. It resulted in the increase in the production and brought the economic condition of his empire in a great prosperity. Peoples were happy during his reign. They said him the father of the empire, and he loved everyone as his son and daughter. After the war of Kalinga, Ashoka embraced Buddhism. He followed Buddhism's, the principle of Buddhism's. He got erected several pillars and edicts to spread the teaching of Buddhism. He ordered to construct around 84,000 stupas to keep the relics of Buddha. He gave a donation to Buddhist viharas, and he sent his son, his daughter, and many others to other countries like Sri Lanka, Java, Sumatra, Japan to flourish the Buddhism. Now we will read about the extension of Ashoka's empire. After his victory at Kalinga, Ashoka's empire extended from Hindu Kush in the northwest to river Pennar in the south. It also included some parts of Nepal in the north and Kabul, Herat and Kandahar provinces outside the present boundary in India. And the administration of Mauryan Empire. It was a pan-Indian character. Now, what is pan-Indian character? The Mauryan Empire, beginning with the Chandragupta Maurya, was a vast with all India character. Seleucus, whom Chandragupta Maurya defeated in this war and handed over him 4 provinces, as we have already read: Kabul, Kandahar, Herat and Balochistan. These remained with the Mauryan Empire right up to the end of the Ashoka's rule, and during the Bindusar's rule, Ashoka reached Takshila and quelled the revolt there. That means he demolished the revolt against Bindusar, which was held in Takshila. And after Bindusar had established his rule over South India, no other king overruled over the whole of India. And the fact is that the Chandragupta Maurya spent his last years at Shravana Belagola in Karnataka speaks volume to the all India characters of the Mauryan Empire. And the chief advantage of the pan-Indian character of his empire was, first, it marked the end of the small states, that there were no small states. It helped in establishing trade links between the foreign aggressions successfully. After Ashoka's victory over Kalinga, the era of conquest and the war was over. It helped the Mauryan king to pay more attention to the social and economic life. Hence, there was an all-round economic prosperity. Now we will read about the administration. The administration of Chandragupta Maurya. Under his guidance of Chanakya, he laid down the foundation of an elaborate system of administration. Chanakya wrote the book. The name of the book was Arthashastra, in which he described the principle of politics and art of administration. Chandragupta's son Bindusar retained the same system, and Ashoka made some changes necessitated by change the heart after the Kalinga war. Ashoka added a new 5th province, Kalinga, in the existing 4 provinces, with Toshali as its capital. The Mauryan centralized monarchy became a paternal despotism under Ashoka, and in one of his edicts, Ashoka says, "All men are my children." His central administration was Ashoka brought some changes in the administrative system of Chandragupta's Maurya. He appointed Mahamatras as a governor. At the central level, the king was being assisted by the Council of Ministers or a Mantri Parishad, which was headed by Prime Minister, and each minister was responsible for their own department. The Council of Ministers included a chief Purohit or a chief Pujari called Purohit. Senapati was advised the king on matter related to the war and peace, and the head treasurer were called Sannidhata and Samaharta, the taxation expert. And these were the 5 states with their capital. Magad, the capital was Pataliputra. Gandhara, northwestern province, it was Takshashila, the capital. Avanti, eastern province was Ujjain. Southern province, Swarnagiri, and Kalinga, Toshali, the capital of Kalinga. Now we will read about the provincial government of Mauryan dynasty. Ashoka made an alternation only in the central government, not in the provincial government. His great-grandfather's time there was 4 provinces, but after the Kalinga war he declared another province. It was the Kalinga with Toshila as his capital, and head of the province was called Kumar or Aryaputra. During the Ashoka's times, Kumar was assisted by the governor, that was Mahamatras. Pradeshika, they collected the taxes. Rajuka performed the functions of modern day Tehsildar. The district administration was called the Janpadas. They were administered by the Pradeshika, Rajuka and Yukta. And the most vital was the military administration, where Chandragupta Maurya maintained a huge army. But after the war, army was not there, but king was the commander-in-chief of the army, and the whole army was under his guidance. Later on, after the war, he declared that there will be no army in his dynasty. Ashoka's Dhamma was, after the Kalinga war, Ashoka became the people's king. He embraced Buddhism. He wanted his subject to follow such as a Dhamma and the moral law, a common code of conduct or ethical order, which is the common meeting ground of all the religions, as described in Dhamma by Ashoka. The principle of Ashoka's Dhamma was respect elders, ahimsa or non-violence, good deeds or good karma, which will give you the happiness to the man in a next birth. He taught people to respect all religions. He disapproved empty rituals. And the impact of the Dhamma was religious unity. There was the moral values and totally end of crimes, with public welfare was there. So in this lesson we have read about the Indica, we have read about the Arthashastra, archaeological facts like Sachi Stupa, and central administration, military administration, and we have read about the Ashoka's Dhamma after the Kalinga war, principle of Dhammas and what was the impact of Dhamma. I hope all of you will read this chapter and will follow this video. We will meet in our next session with a new chapter with a new lesson. Till then, have a nice day and take care of your health.